beyond the vow, where the truth gets real. Faith and love, yeah, that's the deal. WC and Maria, bringing that glow. Tuesday nights is the show you gotta know.
Love ain't a moment, it's a movement we found. Beyond the vows, where the real talk sound.
Well, welcome to what's going to be an exciting time beyond the vows.
Beyond the Vows.
So I'm W.C. Brown, and this is my lovely wife, Maria Brown, who so kindly took my last name because she could have took, baby, that's another story. But listen, we want to invite you into our bedroom, not our bedroom. You can't come in there. I want to invite you into our living room where nice and warm. Okay. So listen, this is Beyond the Vows. This is a show that talks about what happens after you say I do. Because we wouldn't be on the air if you said I don't, but you had said I do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we always talk about how it's the institution of marriage and how, the church, and it's not always going to be about the church and what have you, but we want to talk about how, at least the church, from what we know, teaches you how to get married, but they never really focus on how to stay married.
But before we go there, we'd like to let you know we are not professionals. We're just married.
That's
okay.
it.
So we're going to do some real talk about some real stuff. All right. And I'm sure that everyone will be able to learn from each other's experience.
hmm And I just felt a song in my spirit, just looking at you. Isn't she lovely? Oh, yeah. Okay. Never mind. Okay. So, listen. First of all, we want to shout out our sponsor
Hmm.
of this awesome telecast, this awesome podcast, Deaf Child Hope International. Deaf
Yes.
Child Hope International, sponsor a deaf child in poverty today. You know there are over 25 million children all over the world who are not only in poverty, but they are also deaf. Many of these kids have never had a conversation. They've never had, friends or kids they could play with and things like that. And we are so proud to be spokespersons for the Deaf Child Hope International. So we want you to go to deafchildhope.org, deafchildhope.org, and listen, we've got children. Oh, all right. We've got children all over the world that need your support.
Yes.
Okay? They
Absolutely.
need your support, and we have a young man named Kumba. He's in the Congo, and he's 15 years old now. And they send you, this, and they actually had some children with a banner that said "Thank you, Willie," and they got put Maria's name on there too. But thank you so much. So deafchildhope.org. Consider sponsoring a child today, and we thank Deaf Child Hope for being a great sponsor of our podcast.
And we also want to do a shout out to our lovely sister, Cammie. We are on her stations, www.skstradio.com. If you're interested in the podcast, please look her up. Her
Mhm.
name is Cammie. I'll say it again, www.s.k, excuse me, let me say it again, www.skstradio.com. I'm telling you, you are going to be blessed.
Right. Come join us today. Podcasting is a thing. Email us today. So listen. So what we wanted to do, being that, like I said, we're not professionals.
No.
We're not licensed, but we're licensed to be married. But we just want to share some things that we have. We are going on 13 years
long years.
Thir- huh?
Yeah,
Why you got caught wrong?
because it apparently it is 13 years is a long time to be connected with one person.
Okay. Anyway,
No, seriously. No, it's thirteen
I know.
years, but I'm just saying, we have our ups and our downs, sometimes more ups and downs, sometimes more downs than up. But how to get through it, how to surface through it is what we really want to dive into because, like Will said earlier, the church can teach you how to come together, but they don't teach you how to stay together. 9 times out of 10, y'all already know a lot of our friends are divorced before 5 years is up, or divorced before 10 years. 10 years
Mhm.
is up. And as you get older and as you mature, I'll say, you change
Yeah.
the way you think, the way you reason,
Yeah.
um, even your appetite changes. You go through different things in your body. Sometimes some people they get a little sickly, or sometimes because of issues in your body, it kind of stops you from doing the things that you love to do the most. And we as a couple, we have to learn how to adjust to the change. But I think that that's the issue with marriage.
Hmm.
No one wants to change. Everybody wants to stay the same. But if you're not ready to be vulnerable and to give of yourself and stop being selfish, nothing's going to ever happen.
Pretty much, pretty much. And then you just said about how things changed. Now, when we got married,
Mm-hmm.
I was like looking like an Adonis. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I was all this, that, and the other. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm got a little bit of look like a Dobo. How you know, the
Well,
Pillsbury Doughboy. You know,
God help him.
and that's not what you saw in the beginning. You know, a
Uh-huh.
vibrant. So that's what we're talking about.
Mhm.
Going beyond. I take so here's what I got back.
All right.
So I take thee to be my wedded wife,
Mm-hmm.
to having a home from this day forward, blah 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 blah. So that phrase says that's not forced when you take it, unless we talk about shotgun weddings, which and not forget to be when people make mistakes. Y'all ain't gonna like this, but I don't care because y'all don't go home with me. Stop making folk get married because they made a mistake. They're just creating more customers for divorce court.
Mm.
Okay, I'm off of that one. Okay, so because this says that God isn't a matchmaker. He doesn't predetermine who you'll marry. He doesn't oversee the e. It's called the e heavenly. Like we got e-commerce. Email the e heavenly dating service. And we have to figure out most of what we see is visual.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I first saw you, all I just saw was your eyes. I didn't. It was just you were just gorgeous. The eyes is what took me. And at that point, I was nowhere in the spirit. I didn't care if you knew the Lord or didn't know the Lord. I just wanted to,
God help
you
him.
know. And then it's getting past the visual,
Mm-hmm.
past the physical, and then you start to learn how to learn each other. And it's always awkward, in the beginning, in the dating stage.
Yeah.
You don't see everything, and not until you know, put a ring on it, now you committed.
Right.
And now it's like, you just like, oh, let me just let my hair down because I got her now, or I got him now, so I can just be who I want to be because,
No.
because you had no idea when we got married that well, you say I snore,
Oh my God.
you know, you won't prepare for that, and then and you know what? Speaking of snoring, you've been talking about. I caught you. I got you on. I'm recording. But never mind. Go on. But those are some things that we have to look at. Are we willing to put up? I hate to say put up
You can say
with certain,
that because we're
put
being
up with
real.
put up with certain things
Mm-hmm.
that take the fantasy out of your courtship.
Well, I think marriage is what you put into it. If you don't put anything into it, you're not going to get anything out of it. It's
Mm,
what you do with it. It's just like with life. Life happens, So when life happens, what do? Do you just sit and mope and get upset and get angry because these things are happening to you? No,
mm,
you get up and you do something about it. If
mm.
you want change, you got to bring the change. If you want something, you got to go get it.
Right, right,
So
right.
that's what it's all about. Marriage is not, it's not just about coming together, going to bed and waking up with somebody cooking you breakfast in the morning, bringing it to you to the bedroom, and then y'all getting busy all over again. No, it's more to it than just that. It's more to it. Like I said earlier, you cannot be selfish. You're very vulnerable,
Right,
because it's
right.
like a mirror, and you're looking at the mirror and you're looking at yourself. And as time goes by, there's different things about you that's going to change. But what are you going to do when you see yourself in the mirror and you don't like what you see?
Right. What happens when you see imperfection?
Hmm.
That's when we start, couples start doubting, you know, their relationship.
True.
What in the world was I thinking?
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea they would do this or they would do that. I didn't see that before.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to really try to realize, is this worth staying together? Is this an obstacle? Is this an imperfection that I can live with and make renovations? So we're constantly making renovations in our marriage, because as you grow in years, things change.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Your hearing, you
Ugh.
know,
Woo, don't I know about that?
and
Woo. What?
what about the hearing?
Baby, sometimes the TV be on 80.
It don't even go up that high.
Yes, it does.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. Mm. Y'all, I'm telling you, this man getting hit. The TV is on so loud. I have to tell him, babe, I'm trying to sleep, and I cannot stand that TV that high. You already know that, but
And
I
then,
digress.
so here we go. Compromises. Compromises. You know, it's give and take.
It is,
You know,
but the
you know.
thing about it is, how much are you willing to compromise, Will? Because every time the Cowboys come on, or something, I'm forced to look at the show.
You're a cowboy by
Oh my
default. That's
God.
that's the disclaimer. You're a cowboy by default.
Woo! Okay.
Yeah. Thank
All
you
right.
very
Now,
much.
sometimes I don't mind. I'll look at it and then I'll fall asleep. That's fine. That's
Or
that's
when I have
okay.
to listen to the next top model, or the Great British Baking Show, and you got me hooked.
Yeah.
Well, why can't you? Well, never mind. We'll work on that cowboy thing. 'Cause,
But see,
you know,
being married, y'all, it is about give and take.
right.
But you gotta understand also, you're very vulnerable. There's some things about you that you may not like that your partner doesn't know, and vice versa. But then that's our job to come back and encourage, or this is how we communicate. Because
Hmm.
sometimes you're gonna have to open up and you're going to have to say what it is that's on your heart,
Hmm.
and you can't be afraid, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Now, men, I'm telling you, I'm talking to you brothers out there. A lot of times we've been raised a certain way.
Mm.
A lot of us we've been raised not to cry. Real men don't cry, or real men don't show emotions and stuff like that. And I've had issues. I've had issues with that because, especially, it wasn't even so much how I was raised. My dad didn't show a lot of love. We knew he loved us, you know. But my
Mm-hmm.
mom, oh my God, she was like the jewel of the earth. Not taking that away from my daddy, but I saw some things that weren't like examples of how a marriage should be,
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of guys. I'm not talking about the women. A lot of guys that um, grew up with that, and that's all they know. That's all they've ever seen.
But you know,
You know?
if just like I said earlier, if you want change, you got to bring the change. If you don't want to have your marriage like that, then you have to do something different. You can't stay the same, okay? Because we're constantly growing, we're constantly evolving, we're constantly doing something different or adding something to the marriage. You got to change, and the only way that's going to happen is you got to bring the change. If you don't want our marriage to be like it was with your father, when
Mm-hmm.
how he was kind of lackadaisical when it comes to showing love, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm the total opposite. I want it all. Okay. I want to be a soft woman. I want to stay a soft woman. I don't want to be hard and bitter and resentful and angry and all that crazy stuff. I don't want to be that way. I want to be able to live my soft years. Do you understand what I'm saying? My
Mm.
femininity. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I hope I
Lord.
said that. That's what I want.
Oh, glory. I just
Okay.
saw the Spirit just
Yes,
moved.
but that's what
Oh,
I want. And the
oh.
best way you can bring that out of me is to show me love. And the way that you have to do that, everybody's different. I love the roses.
Who?
Roses. I love them. I don't care what color it is. I love the
So,
roses.
speaking of roses, so
Oh,
give
I'm
me
not
what?
done
Wait
yet.
a minute, yeah, we get
I
with the
love the
roses.
roses.
Mm-hmm.
I love the letters. Stuff like that. You want to keep it simple. I'm not hard to please, okay? I'm not materialistic. I don't need a whole lot of stuff to please me. But just those little itty bitty things, you don't understand.
Right.
And no, those little itty bitty things is big
Like, remember we
to
wrote the
me.
love letter to each other?
Where is your love letter, sir?
Where's mine? It's in the
Mhm,
drawer.
mhm.
Where's yours?
In my heart.
So why can't mine be in my heart
No, I'm just
and I get
picking.
to have?
I
I
do have mine. Mine is in my phone. I'm sorry.
so
But
we actually did that,
yeah, we
and I
did.
think who suggested that? Was it
I
you?
did.
She will take credit for that. Okay,
Wait a minute.
so
Back up.
oh,
Back up, yo. Back up. All right.
okay,
Yes, I suggested that. Why?
yeah,
Because I wanted to do something different. Because I wanted to do something different. Just like I said before, if I want change, I gotta bring about the change. So
yeah,
that's what I wanted to do. And I'm the type of person, if I tell you what I want and you do it tomorrow, I'm not gonna receive it well. Because you know why? Because I had to tell you first. This is what marriage is about. Get to know me. I get to know you. So we have to spend some form of quality time together. We got to be able to to communicate. We
hmm,
got to be able to show love. And then you know what? If it's something that he doesn't like, then I got to know how to let me back up and do something different.
yeah. Like potato salad. I hate potato salad, so she don't ever make potato salad. At least not. Is that example you talking about? I was trying to come up with an example, just trying to help you.
Oh, you talking about that? Oh, y'all, I got something for you. Let me tell you something. The other day he was trying to be all nice and stuff and fix me some waffles and bacon and eggs. And y'all, guess what? The waffle was as hard as a brick. Couldn't even eat it. Couldn't even eat it. But it's the thought behind. I said, baby, I can't eat these waffles. They're real hard. I can't eat them.
Yeah,
So I did eat the bacon.
yeah. But
And the
but
coffee sucked too. But anyway,
huh?
it did. It didn't taste good. It tastes like water.
But you didn't say that.
Babe, I did tell you.
So here's the other thing. Um,
Mm.
do we be? Are we? Do we want to continue to be honest? With, like for instance, every year, every year at Christmas time,
Mm-hmm.
I would buy you those baskets
Oh God.
with the creams and the lotions and the sprays and stuff in there. And finally, that was last year. You said, "Honey, please don't buy me that more." I didn't know
Um,
you didn't want to smell like peach cobbler and apple
Audience,
pie
ladies and
and
gentlemen,
sweet potato. I didn't know you wanted. But you know what I'm
I
saying?
th-
But you let me go all that long because I guess you wanted me to feel like I was doing something.
let me be
Is that
honest.
is that a hindrance? Is that fair to do that? And we're talking because we want to help somebody. You know,
Okay, I'm gonna be totally honest with
you
you.
keep letting somebody drive blindly.
Well, well, honestly,
Hello,
y'all, I'm gonna
lights.
be totally honest with you. I felt kind of bad. I really did
No, you
because
didn't.
a lot of things that he was buying me, I was like, God, this still ain't it. You know, still ain't it. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? And then last year, I think I got fed up because guess what he gave me for Christmas? He gave me this cute little thing. And I was like, oh, maybe it's got something I can really use. Y'all, guess what it was?
What?
Toenail clippers, scissors, stuff to file down your nails. I don't have that problem. The only one that got toe problems is him. Feet white as snow.
Guys, we gotta
Okay.
stop bringing practical gifts that they, flowers die. But now for Mother's Day, remember Mother's Day? I didn't buy you roses. I bought you the card rose. You know, you open it up and a whole
A
bouquet.
cardboard
But
that folded into flowers.
but it lasts a long. It will have it for 20 years or more if you keep it in a good place in the house.
Men, if you want to keep your marriage, don't do what he just said. Don't do it because I'm telling you, a cardboard that's made out of flowers, no, that look like flowers, baby,
It was
that don't
beautiful.
work.
It was 14.95.
Mm-mm.
It
Baby,
was,
no. Mm-mm. If I can't have a real thing, then don't give me
well, I
nothing.
saw it on Facebook, and all the women that was
You
getting it, they were like,
listen.
"Oh my God, that is
That's
so thoughtful."
that is because they're superficial. No, that ain't me.
But is it still the thought they count?
You know what? I appreciate what you do, but give me what I like. Because
You
guess
said
what?
you like roses. It was
I didn't
roses.
know. I want real
But what happens
REAL.
when those roses die? You got to throw them away. That's like throwing away my love. Ah,
Who at
excuse me. Tito, get me a tissue.
God help him. But anyway, as you all can see, back to the Christmas thing. He bought me that, and I'm like, now what am I going to use this for? And guess what I use it for now, y'all? To clip his toes.
Yes, Lord.
To clip his toenails. When I do
But
baby him.
but I did
Yeah.
yours the other. I did
Hmm.
yours the other night. You had a ingrown. You said, "Oh my toe," and I was just like a surgeon, just like a sturgeon. Yeah.
Y'all, he was a surgeon, all right. And then he cut into the meat of my toe. Remember?
I feel so bad.
But anyway, but see, this is what we're talking about, and we're just
Mhm.
being real with
Yeah.
y'all. I'm telling
And yeah,
you,
and you have to have fun.
you
You know
do,
what I'm saying?
you do.
You have to look at things. It's everything's. I mean, nobody gets it right. Nobody is perfect. You know what I'm
There
saying?
is not
And,
the
and, and,
perfect
and no,
marriage.
no couple should ever say that they have arrived, that they have the perfect relationship. I mean, to the day you die,
Mhm.
we leave it. You're still working on imperfection. You're still working on how to be better communicators. You're still working on how to be more loving to one another,
Right.
physically, mentally. Doesn't matter. So marriage still is an ongoing process
It
of
is.
growth
You know,
because every year everything changes.
but not only is it the process of growth, as we grow together. So there's different parts of me that has to break off. You understand what I'm saying? Because the Bible even says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. So those things that were a part of me in my process of being married to this man, there were some things that were childish that I had to get rid of that was still attached to me. It's the same thing. There's some little boy things that was attached to you, Will, that you have to get rid of because in the marriage, we're looking as women, we're looking for our man to be the king over the over our kingdom. All right. And I'm the queen. I'm your neck, and I move you any way I want. Hey, anyway, I digress.
But what was the times you call me boy?
Huh?
You call me boy sometimes. You said boy. I was only living up to that name.
Anyway, as I was saying, those things have to come off, and then as you mature and become men and women in your marriage, king and queen, and
Yeah.
y'all be able to rule your kingdom. You know, because you have children that you need to set examples for. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
So
right,
I mean,
right.
so that's why I said there's some things that we have to cut away from ourselves that we're so used to having. You know, we just can't do those things. There has to be
Yeah,
boundaries
and you
with.
know, and there's also other external sources or external influences
Hmm.
that can make or break your marriage. Now, it's easy, and I'm gonna say it's easy when people get married and they have no children. Period.
Hmm.
Because that gives them the opportunity to learn each other and stuff like that. But when people have been in former marriages
Hmm.
and you bring in your side of the children, my side of the children, you know, it can be a challenge. And we're a blended family,
Yes, we are.
you know what I'm saying? And there's been some challenge, but you know, I look at I call my bonus kids,
Hmm.
you know, I don't separate that. I don't believe in that word step this, step that. But all the other external challenges, how do they do, especially now, and I challenge you guys today to go back and look at your marriage vows
Hmm.
and dissect each line and check out to see where you're doing well in, where you maybe failing in,
Hmm.
maybe what needs more work,
Yeah.
and marriage is work. She has taught me that marriage is work.
I told you
My
that.
wife loves to talk. 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, she will ask the question that only Einstein can answer, and I'm dead asleep. Well, I was thinking, the world is. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. But I had to learn. So look, this part says to have and to hold from this day forward. I really think people they just take some of these vows for granted, you know, and they really have to. That's why we talk. I think you talked before one time about the counseling in the beginning. How
Hmm.
important is that?
Oh God. Well, counseling is so important because there are so many facets of you and of me
Hmm.
that we haven't even touched. And I'm not
Right.
sure if we've been afraid to touch them or if we have not been aware that this is what we possess. But we have to look at it. And you have to be, like I said earlier, you have to be vulnerable. You know, if you can look yourself naked in the mirror and the things that you don't like, and then you start to work on it. And then after time, you see the changes in your body and you begin to like it. It's the same thing that's on the inside.
Right.
We have to do that. And some of us are afraid to face the music.
Hmm. Hmm. But you know what? That part about to have and to hold,
Hmm.
to have in legal terms is considered property rights.
Hmm.
So is your spouse your property? No. But um, to hold is to keep, to watch over.
Hmm.
You know, if I've got something in my hand, somebody told me hold this.
Hmm.
They are trusting me
Hmm.
not to break it,
Yeah.
not to let it fall.
Right.
And so when you're married, hold, you're trusting me to have your heart,
Yeah.
which is the most critical thing in your body,
Right.
is your heart, because it encompasses everything that's about you. So that part right there, you have to really look at it. And that's why we want to start going beyond the vows, beyond what you've been told to repeat. Okay. So listen, we want to go to a commercial break.
Hmm.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about uh, for better, for worse, richer, poorer, and sickness and in health. And don't forget our sponsor, Deaf Child Hope International, deafchildhope.org. Don't forget, children need your support. Go there. And listen, and if you want to know more about this, go to their website, but you can also go to Beyond the Vows with the S dot skstv at gmail.com to get more information. You can find out how to get pampers to get your children, even there's a pen in the back for you to sign. Okay? So that's it.
Patrick Otema is 15 years old. He was born deaf, but in this remote region of northern Uganda, there are no schools for deaf children. In his whole life, Patrick's never had a conversation.
Hello. Good?
His father, Charles, looks after him. They are only able to communicate through very basic gestures.
Cái lộc mà đó mà bắt cha lộc cái doga kita kuat lộc ne, penyang, eto aramo tim mungkin main ini, nyara wajano ko kwan kuer cer porno aporo.
We've been sitting here talking about Patrick in front of him, and while he's been watching us, he doesn't understand what we're saying. It feels almost rude. But this is what Patrick's life is like all the time.
I'm here with someone who wants to change all that. Raymond Okello is deaf himself and a sign language teacher.
Do you think he could learn sign language? This is pretty much Patrick's existence. His father gestures to him what he wants him to do, and when he's finished, he goes back to his hut to spend the rest of the day on his own.
Patrick's fate is not unusual. The majority of deaf people in sub-Saharan Africa have never been taught sign language. Unable to communicate with others, they're trapped in their own minds. Raymond became deaf as a child after a bout of malaria. 6 months ago, he travelled to the capital for intensive training in sign language. Now he's returned to his village to do something unprecedented. He's going to teach the first sign language course ever set up here.
Raymond, are you nervous?
It's 2 o'clock. The first deaf students start turning up. And class begins.
The course has already started, but Patrick hasn't turned up yet, and I'm worried that his father couldn't convince him to leave home.
A few minutes later, Patrick arrives.
Patrick's transformation is amazing. It's almost impossible to believe it's the same boy we met yesterday.
New deaf students keep arriving. Many have walked miles to be here. There's a 9-year-old boy and an 80-year-old woman. Before the end of the class, each new student goes to the front. The class votes on a new name for them. This is now Patrick's sign name, and he will use it for the rest of his life. He has just been baptized into a whole new world.
Wow. So before we went to commercial, we were talking about the have and to hold.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to talk to them for better, for worse, for richer, for First of all, let's go for better or for worse. What do you think is one of them? Okay, for instance, if there has been something your spouse has done that's really, 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 really bad, either one. And you know how the Bible says, and y'all listen to this, you know, in the Bible says, forgive 7 times 70, okay? What happens on number 71? Hmm?
That one is a hard pill to swallow because I'm not gonna lie. My husband and I had not always been on the same page. Well, he hasn't always been the lemonade and my lemons. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it has not been very easy sometimes. I know for myself. Sometimes I want to forgive and sometimes I don't. I'm just gonna be real with you, ladies. Sometimes I want to, then sometimes I don't. And I go back and forth. But the thing about it is I am guilty of some stupid stuff and crazy stuff my own self. And so how I take that is, well, what is it? I want God to be able to forgive me for the crazy stuff that I take him through. And I should be able to forgive my husband for some of the crazy stuff that he takes me through and vice versa. So basically, that's what this is me. You don't have to be like me. You can do whatever it is you want to do, but I'm being real about me. Um, and I do consider that. But then like I said, there's sometimes I don't want to forgive and I want to rage, yes. And I want to fight back, yes. And I want to
Yeah,
take revenge on him. But that's not the way to go. And then that moment only lasts for just a little bit, not a lot. You're not going to stay angry and upset and unforgiving forever, you know. But then the
yeah,
thing
yeah.
about it is the one that makes you upset or the one that does something that bothers you the most, they have to be the one that have to win that trust or win that honesty back. And that's what's got to happen in the marriage, y'all. Give and take, but you can't be selfish. You can't say, well, I'm gonna do what I want to do when I want to do and how I want to do it. I don't have to have no boundaries because I'm married to you. The devil is a lie. If you don't want any boundaries or set any, if you want to be selfish, don't get married because I'm telling you, it ain't gonna work. You got to be selfless. Got to be. You got to be able to have some form of boundaries because guess what? When there's wind or when there's debris, if you don't have any fencing around your home, what's going to happen? Those things that's going to try to come through, they are barricaded because of the fence that's around. Boundary sets a fence around your marriage where you don't allow people to separate you from the very thing that God has given to you. Now, if you don't want to set a boundary, don't get married. I'm telling you, because you are just messing up somebody else's life.
Set yourself up for failure.
Yeah, you
And you talking
are.
about defense. In this case, you don't need a chain link fence, because you can still pump holes,
But
put your
that's the
fingers.
thing.
Yeah.
Just that you gotta set those boundaries, Will. You have to put something around your marriage so that you have to it's kind of like building a forge, if I'm saying that right.
Mhm.
Just like with the army, you don't want the
Air
enemy to
Force.
come to it, wherever it was, Air Force, Marines, whatever you call it. They built a forge
Right.
so that the enemy can't come in there and separate them from each other. And that's how marriage is, Will. So we can't allow the devil, friends, family, other niggas. Lord Jesus, was I supposed to say that? Lord, forgive me if I was. I'm so sorry. Because sometimes people can act like a ninja, okay? But anyway, we're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to allow others to come into what we have to
Mhm.
separate
That's what it
us.
says. Let no man
Put
put
asunder. But you
asunder.
know what? Not
Mhm.
only no man put asunder, don't you put it to asunder. Don't
Mhm.
I put it to asunder. And how can I do that? by not having boundaries, by not setting standards, by just allowing anything to come or allowing anybody to say anything about my husband to me or allowing other people to get into my ears to encourage me to leave or encourage me
Did
to
we become
yeah
distractions?
yeah we will
Yeah,
this
these
is why it's
distractions.
so
Yeah,
important. I cannot stress
yeah,
this enough.
yeah.
I told Will today, I said, you Will, why do we I said I don't understand why we get this so far into a marriage. This is my second marriage. And we this is the time that I'm really understanding what marriage is all about, y'all. I don't think I really understood it when I first got married, but now, oh my God, I'm seeing it for what it really is and what God really intended. So I take it serious. You know, yeah, we're gonna have good days, we're gonna have bad days, we're gonna have in between days, we're gonna have happy days, we're gonna have very exciting days, we're gonna have sad days, we're gonna have crying days, we're gonna have times of weeping, times of joy, times of excitement, times of, being silent or whatever the case is. But we got to build this kingdom. We got to
Yeah.
build this marriage.
So can you still be? And like I said, we may not always be talking about anything that's going on with us, but these are questions that we believe people are having, and they have. Can you be mad with your spouse and still be totally in love with them?
Yeah, because I stay mad at him a lot. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. You don't see me smiling. I'm serious because a lot of times I get upset with him. But the thing about it is, Will, honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be totally real. I am 100% transparent. It's nothing that that I wouldn't do for him. But God knows when my baby makes me upset, I have to walk away and pray. I'm not gonna lie. Ain't that right, Will?
I
I
try to
got
walk right behind you because I like walking behind you. 'Cause-
Will. No,
oh,
I'm not talking about that.
oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Do y'all see what I'm talking about? But no, seriously.
Yeah, and like what you made me angry.
Oh yeah,
I
I.
will still, I will
Mm-mm.
still get up, guys. I will still get up. I can be mad as fish grease,
Mm-hmm.
and I will still get up and make sure she has her coffee and her breakfast before she goes.
He does. He does. But you know what? I really do believe this,
You
y'all. And like I said, we've been married for however long it's been, and
maybe however long.
because I'm not trying to. It, can you just let me talk?
Yeah, put
Thank
a
you.
number on now. I put a ring on it. You put
I'm
a number
just
on it.
saying, just because we've been married this long, um, it's taken us to get to this place that we're in now to really begin to understand what our marriage was for, Will.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean? I'm
yeah.
so serious because I'm telling it's too many people out here, and it's too many people out here that are married and they have kids, and when they are fussing and fighting or not in agreement, do you know who suffers the most? The kids. The kids suffer
Pretty
the
much.
most because they don't want to see their parents upset. They don't want to see their parents in some form of division. Can you imagine what kind of havoc that brings when when you have parents that are arguing and bickering back and forth, fighting, throwing stuff? I mean, that causes a rift in your family, and the one that suffers the most is your children. So y'all, we gotta set an example. We
Mhm.
have to. We have to set an example.
I think
Oh,
now,
look, hey babe, look. Someone's asking,
how
how
did we
did you
meet?
meet? Oh,
Okay,
do you want to say it?
I can tell this story.
Okay, you got 2 seconds. Go ahead.
I, I so I was I was on a dating site,
Mhm.
um, helping to do some investigations because there were a lot of people who were faking these profiles,
Mhm.
and especially for the military guys, they were they would get you engaged in a conversation. You're thinking online, just, oh my God, you're the man I want to be with, blah, blah, blah. And kind of find out it's the scammers,
Right.
trying to scam me. So I was doing something for an agency and trying to find scammers and,
Hmm.
get them arrested, put them in place.
Okay, you stop right there.
Right.
I myself was divorced, and I was ready to get back into the dating um, aspect. I had been divorced maybe 3, 4 years, I guess, something like that. And it's different because I got married very young, and I didn't really date a whole lot. So this was so new and so different for me. So I got on this dating site called Badu.
hmm Badu, and I was on Badu,
Hmm.
and I had finished all my investigations. There was nobody else. So I had to create a real profile on these sites. That's how we baited the scammers then.
Hmm.
And I was getting ready to delete my Badu profile. And when I logged on, her picture was in the middle of all these thumbnails of pictures. And I just saw her eyes. I'm like, what the ham sandwich? She looked beautiful. Her eyes. I said, probably some scammer using this lady's picture. So, but I never canceled or never deleted the profile. And I would go to her profile. I would look at all her pictures. I would look at every day. So then I would actually put her picture on my phone, and I started fantasizing that I was gonna be with this woman. I put my phone on my pillow at night. I was living in New York, and I put my phone. I said, "Baby, you ready to go to bed?" I'd go to the commissary, and I'd have you right there in the basket saying, "Hey, we need some more milk or whatever." And I had this. So November the 5th, 2011. Well, no, 2012. Yeah, 2012. So mind you now, my mother, she passed away in November 2011. Before she died, she said, "I have seen your wife." And my mother was a pastor. She was a prophetess. I mean, she was just, when she said something that the Lord told her to do, you better take it to the bank. She said, "I've seen your wife." And I was like, "Okay, Mom, who is she? Where is she?" She said, "You're going to know her because you have stood on the same ground." I had no idea what that meant, you know. And
So
30 minutes later, my mother was gone.
mm,
And so after watching going on your profile, and you already knew who's this guy that keeps logging onto my profile. You don't never say nothing. So, no, and that's like I found out the president Obama's coming to Virginia, you know, and I want to be able to tell him, Mr. President, you are part of my marriage, okay? Because November 5th, 2012 was the election day, was the voting day for his second term, and you sent me a message. You said, "Hi, my name is Maria, and I'm on this dating site trying to find friends and stuff like that." And so we kind of conversed a little bit, and then she asked me, what was I? I said I was, on the site trying to do the same. I'm all the time thinking, okay, I'm talking to some scammer, but I'm gonna go along with it. And then you said the lady on your profile, that's Dr. Cynthia Chapman, and I was like, wait a minute, don't no scammer know my mama, you know. And then even
I actually told you that she was the one that sung at my church,
right,
and I knew her name was Dr. Cynthia. I didn't remember her last name,
right, yeah,
but
yeah.
but that's how it was. And so, yep, I reached out first because apparently he was afraid to. You know how they got this saying, "Shoot your shot." So I was like, okay, well, I wasn't trying to shoot for him. I'm just trying to figure out, if you want to say something to me, say something.
See, and remember now, my job is to find scammers. So I was
Right.
trying to
So
get you to
he
go
didn't.
again.
So I guess you thought I was a scammer.
Yeah, but it wasn't until you said about my mom
Hmm.
that got me. And then you said another picture that I had on my profile
Was your
was
brother?
my brother. If you
Mhm.
open up their bank account
Right.
at Woodforest Bank, I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my God, this is crazy. So I don't think we talked anymore that night. No. You asked me what was I doing? I told Mom, you asked me, my mother, she's there. I said, no, she passed. I said, I'm in Virginia now, taking over my mom's church, and this and the other. And you said, what church is that? I said, Garden of Prayer, number 4. And you typed in Bishop Samuel Moore. And I'm going, okay, this is crazy. This lady knows my granddad too.
Yep.
And then you said you went to that. You were renting that church.
I know the church that I was
church that you
that
was
I
with.
grew up in. We were using the building until our church
My grandfather's
building,
church. Yeah.
right? To our building was completed, and so we would come to those services like in the midday and have church until our church was built. And that was a couple of years.
Yeah, and I remember my grandmother telling me that they were renting the church out to another church, and they were tearing up the carpet, shouting and carrying on, not knowing that was you.
Me. It wasn't just me.
Well, you were probably cutting the rug too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, I was the choir director. Yes, at the church
But
that
we
I
didn't
was
say
going
anything
to.
else more that night.
No.
And then the next day, of course, Obama won that night.
Mm-hmm.
First thing I texted you was "Happy Obama Day."
Right.
Okay, that's what I said. Obama, he needs to hear this.
Oh, Lord.
And then you wanted to meet. Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm in New York still. That was Hurricane Sandy. I'm gonna come down. And so we finally decided that I was gonna call you. I gave you you gave me your number.
Yes.
And I called you, and at 1:11 p.m.
Oh God.
1:11. That's my number. 111. And y'all listen. That ain't my passcode in for anything, so don't even try it. 1:11. I heard your voice for the first time.
Right.
And it was amazing. And then we decided to. When I got back, we decided to meet. Okay?
Right.
And still no, my mother's prophecy just didn't know, And we met at your job.
Right.
Okay, in the parking lot.
Right.
The safety, right?
Right. During the day.
Guys, I clear
at night.
I clear out. When she got out of her car, I didn't see her feet move not near an inch. She just, you ever see Morticia on the Addams Family? She just said, just came like that. Oh my Lord, she was beautiful. I never seen all of her, And I was like, boy, I'm about to speak in tongues. I said, hey, come outside, I don't want to see you. And she came outside and saw me, And then I invited you to the church.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm up there on the piano playing. And she walked into the church.
Oh my God.
And all of a sudden, I couldn't even play. I was like, bang, 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 bang. She was gliding down the middle aisle.
Oh, I was not glad.
She was.
See, I'm going to tell you. All right, so musicians, okay? They play right there on the altar. And him, and everybody's looking at him. And he's like, oh my God. Just loud. Just loud. Anything that he was telling me, everybody saw it.
I didn't care. I didn't care. And she had this long ponytail. It's like the ponytail was just going to slow motion.
Oh my God.
And she had these beige stockings on and these beige wedgies. And that skirt, you still have that skirt to this day. We're going to frame that skirt.
My God.
So anyway, you decided to go to your mom because you stayed with your mom.
Right.
She was staying with her mom. And I went to her house for the first time. I took her mother groceries.
Right.
Never met this woman, but I took her groceries.
Right.
I actually got on my knees
Mm-hmm.
and asked her mother, could I date her?
Exactly. He
I
did.
I did.
He asked mom if he could date me. Can y'all believe a grown man?
I sure did.
Ask my mama.
Ain't no shame in my game.
Ask
You
my
know what I'm
mama.
Yeah.
Really?
So then her mother wanted to show her all these VH tapes of you
Mhm.
wrecking the choir and stuff. And you was like, no, don't show them that. No.
Exactly, because I was a little embarrassed because this is like our actual first time, really dating and going out. Y'all know how it is, ladies. You want to put your best foot forward. You don't want no imperfections or what you see. And my mom was like, no, I'm going to show him these videos. And I'm like, okay, God, all right, I'm just going to let her do her thing. That's my mom.
Yeah, VHS tape. And then she put the tapes in. Maria was directing the choir and different ladies. Then she put the last tape in. And Maria was direct. You had the white skirt on with the split in the back. I remember that. She was doing this with the choir and stuff. Then the next scene is in my granddaddy's church.
Mhm.
I'm like, holy smoke. And then I saw you standing in front of the choir loft.
Mhm.
And at that point, I could hear my mother's voice. She said, you will know her because you both stood on the same ground. I could hear my mama speaking in my ear right then and there because that's where I stood, the same spot, directing the youth choir like 20 years earlier in my great dad's church.
Mm.
What happened then?
So after that, Will ran out, scared me to death. I'm telling you, I thought the food, because you know my mom cooked in there and everything, and I thought the food was nasty. I said, what's wrong? Did something happen? He ran out, went to the elevator, went down. He said, I have to call you later. I'm have to call you later. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what happened. So I went back in the house, shut the door, and I said, Mom, I don't know what happened. So I'm just gonna leave it alone. And maybe about an hour or so went by, and he called me and he said, Rhea, I didn't mean to leave abruptly, but I could hear my mama's voice saying that this is the one I've been telling you about, who have stood in the same grounds that you would have stood. And he said, and it did something to me. And I was shook because I was like, wait a minute, this is going a little bit too fast for me. Because I'm being honest, y'all. When when I got married the first time, I was in my 20s. Here I am in my 40s, and that's like over 20 some years have gone by. I don't know what dating is about. I haven't dated since
I was in my 42.
since in anyway. I dated okay, like that. So anyway, so I'm like kind of like new to the game, green to the game, whatever you want to say. But I just didn't know. But I'm kind of glad that we did go through this process.
Yeah, I mean, everything was just crazy because that's what my mom said. You have stood on the same ground, and we cried, and we got through it. Then we begin to hear other things like my niece sang at your wedding, your
Yeah.
very first wedding,
Yep.
and even the year before we met, when we were at the bishop's church,
Mhm.
that my grandmother and I were sitting behind these kids, and this man had his bald head, you
Mhm.
know, and had no idea that I was sitting behind what would become a year later my bonus children.
Wow.
And that met them. So that is a real way we met.
Mhm.
So that's why probably one of the reasons why is and I'm not we don't try to say it together because it was prophesied by my mother or anything else like that. This was ordained. This was this marriage was ordained, and this us coming together to share with you about beyond the vows.
And we take it serious, you guys. Like
Yeah.
I said, I don't understand why we had to get to this place, but God knows. Sometimes you have to go through some things in order to get to the place where He wants you to be. And then He begins to take all of the kind of like a banana, start peeling things off of you that don't belong there anymore. And so, and in our marriage, that's what we're learning. God is taking off those hard pieces, those calluses that we have developed in our own marriage. He's pulling those things off and beginning to heal those places that have been scarred.
Yeah. So, like I said, guys, we're so glad you joined us. Next week, we got a couple coming next week. We ain't going to tell you who they are, but they know who they are. They're going to be with us. We're going to talk about marriage, ministry, and building a business together.
Hmm.
How you do that. Okay. Again, we just want to thank you all for joining us. Don't forget, go to beyondthevows.skstv@gmail.com. Send us your questions, send us your
Please.
concerns, send us your comments, send us everything. And don't forget, adopt a child today. Deaf Child Hope International. Go to deafchildhope.org and just grab take one of these children in your heart. You know, you'll be the better for it, and you'll be able to give life to a child.
Like and share. And don't forget, if you want a podcast, and if you're interested, we're asking that you would get in contact with Cammie Grayson at www.skstradio.com, and she'll put you on, okay?
Like, you need a podcast. So listen, we will see you next week, baby. I'll see you at the house.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been with us for Beyond the Vows.
Beyond the Vows.
And remember, we're not experts, we're just
Married.
married.